Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Kevysie podcast. I am your host, Kevin Davis. I am a comic creator, writer, author, entrepreneur, go-giver, and I occasionally get yelled at for not sleeping or sometimes eating. But it's a part of the job because we work all the time as creatives, especially world building. But today's guest is actually one of my most exciting guests because we've been friends for a while now, and I've been wanting to interview him for a while. So welcome to the show, the better DC Comics, Mr. Deece. Shoot, Casillas,
Casillas, that's all right, man.
Casillas.
That's okay,
My
that's okay.
brain farted. I'm sorry,
Everyone
brother.
you know what? In today's political climate, I'm okay if people fuck up my Mexican last name, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
make it sound less Latino, and then I'm good. I'll be safer that way, you know what I'm saying? I was like, it
yeah.
was Casillas Berg, but my family dropped the Berg when we came across Ellis Island, you know what I'm saying? So we
Oh my God.
anything to, like, slide under the radar, you know what I'm saying? We got a microscope on us right now.
Yeah, true that, man. That's crazy. But like I said, the better DC Comics is here on the show. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man, thanks for having me. It's funny you say, not sleeping, not eating, that's, like, so relatable. I literally just ate my first meal of the day before I got on
Dude,
this show.
me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
I was like, "Oh, shit, I gotta eat something for it because I got a comedy show tonight I gotta go do, so as soon as I'm done here, I gotta get ready and go to that, so I'm like, "Shit, I should eat something before I go leave for the evening."
Man, yeah, and speaking of comedy, you do different type of things from comedy to writing. Do you do the writing and the art of your comic books?
So I do the cover art of my books, and then I do like a lot of the interior layouts, and then my artist Felipe Sobriera does all the detail work. He's really he's very good. He's so good. I mean, I'm blessed to work with a guy. He's really talented. He really gets my vision, and luckily I have to do less than I did before. I can kind of the first few issues there was more of me doing breakdowns, more of me kind of being setting up stuff to how I wanted it. Now I can kind of just describe it and he gets it. So I'm doing less of he's just really good. I mean, yeah, he's a great artist. So he gets the direction very well.
Heck yeah, dude. And I've been following your journey for a while now since we first met, what, about 2 years ago now?
Something like that. Yeah.
Lost count by now because time flows. So I know your series Kill Stan. I've always wanted to ask you, I'm like, why do you have to kill Stan Lee, bro? Like, come on, like,
And that,
goddamn.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
kidding.
it's funny you say that's that's why I named it Kill Stan, is because I
Wow.
wanted so, like, not many people. So this marketing idea I had didn't work as well as I wanted it
Uh,
to, or the connection hasn't been made as much as I wanted it to, but, like, I'm like, well, if I name it Kill Stan, like Stan is like this ambiguous, like, or this ubiquitous name in the comic book industry. Like everyone who reads comic books know who Stan Lee is, right? So
yeah.
if you have a book that's called Kill Stan, like I know if I saw that on a shelf, same thing you just thought, like, why are they trying to kill Stan Lee? Like that would be my first thought. Well, that thought hasn't crossed people's mind as much as I thought it would, apparently. But, yeah, I'm glad at least a couple of you got it, a couple of people have it not. It's not quite as, universal as I thought it would be.
Yeah, dude, I actually had to pull myself from commenting like your post when you talk about Kill Stan because I want to say it face to face to you. So I legit had to hold myself back so many times. I was like, nah, I mean, I do not want to comment. I want to see his reaction when I say it to his face.
Yeah.
I want to say it to his face because we need to laugh because this is hilarious.
The, yeah, the funny thing is too, I actually before I landed on the name Kill Stan, I was gonna name it because it's the book is kind of an like a, kind of what do I say? Like an homage to my homie who died a few years ago, Tony.
Man, I'm sorry, man.
So, I thought about naming it Kill Tony, but that's a comedy show, and I'm like, "I can't do that." That's like a
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
that's like
Yeah,
that's like a comedy, the biggest fucking pod or one of the biggest podcasts in the world. I'm like, "I can't
yeah,
do that." So I'm like, "What's another name I can use?" And it was. I wanted to, like, immortalize, not that he needs it from me, but, have, like, my homage to Stan Lee also.
man. Funny thing is, I knew about Stan Lee before I got into comics because I didn't get into comics until 2020. I didn't grow up reading comics at all.
Damn.
Like I knew Marvel and DC, like their movies, the animations, and the TV shows. Like I grew up on the original X-Men, the original Spider-Man animations, and all the MCU movies and everything, and like the
Yeah.
TV shows. And same thing with DC. And it was like 2020 hit. I wanted to get into like something new. I mean, I didn't want to sit around watching TV all the time. And so I was like on TikTok, then I found out about comic books. I was like, what the heck is this comic book people are talking about? Like, because I'm always like, I know novels and like regular books, but I'm like, what the heck is a comic book? And then I learned about how all these characters in this live action and stuff are a different form. And then I was like, wait, what the hell? Like that,
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm like, because I've always heard the phrase, this character's not accurate. I'm like, accurate to what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, and then I was like, shit, this is what they meant when it's not accurate. Because now, ever since I've started learning about comic books, I look at the movies and TV shows differently now because I'm
Right.
actually
Right.
getting the source material. And I was like, shit, this is what they meant.
Yeah.
I was like, now I understand why some people like upset with certain characters aren't the way they're portrayed, like they're supposed to be in the comics. And
Yeah.
like when Guardians 3 came out, I heard about the character like Adam Warlock.
Mm-mm.
And so I researched them I researched them after I saw the movie, or either or. But I researched Adam Warlock to see who the hell this thing is, and then I'm like, the Adam Warlock looks freaking badass. And then watching the movie, I was very pissed. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I understand where this frustration coming from. Like, like what the hell, James Gunn?
Yeah. Yeah. They
And I was
really.
like, I thought James was supposed to be the guy that understands comic book characters. I was like, I'm new to comics, but I understand these characters better than him.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Crazy,
feel like
right?
he James Gunn understands comic books through the lens of James Gunn. Like his because if you start watching his movies, I mean, I like his first Guardians of the Galaxy quite a bit, but everything just like especially in the movies he makes now, they it seems like like a caricature of himself, right? Like he's trying to make if it's like if someone tried to make a movie like James Gunn, it's like just becomes more cliche and more of all like the
Yeah,
tropes that he does, relies too heavily on the music. There's a little too much comedy, you
you're not
know.
wrong. Man, you're
So,
not wrong. Way too
yeah,
much. I'm like, I know you need a laugh, like sometimes, but this is supposed to be an action movie. Can we get more of the action in the movie?
right.
Like, but yeah, I was like, I know, like, you're a comedian yourself, and I'm actually challenging myself to like write my own comedy. I
Okay.
said, since you're here, I would love like get you like your advice for like someone that wants to like write comedy. Like, how do you like approach that? From like when you're like on stage to like when you're probably writing a story, a comedy story. Like, how do you approach that?
Yeah, that's
Like I know I'm naturally funny, but writing it, I have to think about it, is so hard to do. Like,
yeah.
how do you combine that? Like, it's very challenging.
It's it's an interesting question because it's really layered. And what I mean is like the way I write comedy is very different depending on the medium I'm writing for. Like me writing so I've written for like obviously on stage comedy, and then I've written like sketch comedy, and then I've written for like TV stuff and film, then I've written like comedy articles for websites. I've been like I write for websites and stuff, or I used to a lot, not so much anymore. Write a lot of comedy web articles, and then sometimes I want to inject comedy into like a comic book or a book I'm writing. So it's all very I feel like it comes from the same place, but the way it manifests is very different. So, if you have like if you're writing it in like a comic book, you've got the added benefit of visuals. So you can add effects of like how the person's facial expressions, the way their body is, color tones even can make a difference on like how the things are portrayed. But I think the big thing is like just finding what you think is funny and then trying to find a way to make that relatable to people because a lot of times like there's things because I did a show last night with some other comics, and we were hanging around in the back. just cracking on each other, talking shit. And it's the type of thing where like that's what we do during a show when we're not on stage, right? But like we're talking about how doing like an open mic for comedy, right? If the comedians are laughing at your jokes, that is not a joke you can do on a show because comedians are fucked up people. We're laughing at the wrong shit. We're laughing
True,
at like
true.
the darkest, craziest, worst shit. So like you got to find ideas and be like, all right, like this may be a wild idea, but like how do I get this and make it palatable to make other people laugh? Like I mean, you follow me on Facebook, you see some of the wild shit I post. And like
Which
it's
be
it's
having me crack up laughing every single time I see it. I'm like, I'm like, I could be like minding my own business, and I get on Facebook and see these posts, and I see something. I don't know. It could be like something random out the blue. I'm like, okay, he's not talking about his comic. He's making a joke about
yeah,
something. And when I don't see like the kill stand hashtag or like the kicked up, okay, he's making a joke about
yeah, it's
something. I'm
just
like, what the hell is this dude saying today? And
I'm
then as
just
soon as I read it, I'm like, fuck, I'm supposed to be working.
yeah. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, because I talk about crazy shit because I like to like, talk about things that are relevant and kind of make a point in the comedy, but also like I want to I don't want to just like get on a soapbox and yell about things that I
Yeah,
believe in or whatever, but I do
yeah,
want to make like a subversive point and make it, I'm like, how do I make this funny? And if I can't make it funny, I don't post about it usually. So it's like, but how can I frame the fact that our government is run by fucking satanic pedophiles? How do I make that into a joke,
right.
So it's like a tough putt, but you can find a way. And that's kind of the fun part is trying to figure out how to like massage something to get it to where people aren't just like pulling back, but you're pulling them into something that they normally wouldn't want to talk about or experience.
Yeah, and and every time I see your post be firing off, and I read all the comments that comes in, and I was like, I was like, he started a conversation for real from a simple joke. And then I see some people try to argue with you. I'm like, that's not what Deece said. You idiot.
Yeah, oh man, every time, every time. It's so funny too, because people, you know, it's one of the things that I think is so interesting about people, frustrating but interesting, is like they they take your words and they put it through their filter to get to a conclusion that they already believe in, right? Instead of just like actually addressing my words and what I'm saying, and like they'll add their own context to it. Or like if I say a positive about something, they assume it means it's a negative about the other. And
Right.
I'm like, no, that's Raina. Sorry, my dog's fucking with some. Like I always say, just because I don't like Coke, it doesn't mean I love Pepsi, you know? Like, I think and the joke is always like, "I think they're both stealing your tax money and starting unwinnable wars," or something like that. Like, they like, just it's like, I fucking hate them both. But
Oh my
some always
God.
they always wanna come in and be like, "Well, you're not talking about this." I'm like, "We'll get to that. We'll get to them. Like, don't worry, I will talk shit about them too. I'm not gonna leave them out of the equation, but right now we're just talking about this thing?"
Right. Oh my God. And like so, and I asked you about comedy because I'm actually challenging myself to like write my own like scary movie style comic.
Okay.
Because after watching Scary Movie 6 trailer, I got inspired.
Yeah.
I love making people smile and laugh, and like just being open. Just can we just do something crazy for a little bit? Just laugh.
Yeah.
And I love Immortal Rain. So even sensitive people need to laugh. I was like, he's right because this world is crazy right now. We need to freaking laugh.
Yeah.
So so I'm doing like a horror comedy spoof um comic where you actually saw it on Instagram because I sent it to you called Tinseltown Terror.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think I might make an anthology comedy horror type of thing.
okay.
But so the first story I'm doing is making fun of Hollywood, where it's called Tinseltown because it's where Hollywood is always constantly doing sequels, reboots,
Right, right.
remakes, and all this and stuff. And I'm making fun of that Hollywood. And the thing about going around acting like you indie creator friend was like, hey, could I do a spoof of your character and that's this comedy? That's like show this like to basically show Hollywood it's this time. This is how you be original. This is
Yeah,
what this
yeah.
kid like. That's also kind of my way of trying to like promote other creators at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is how you be original and creative. Cause look at this Peril writer, the crazy shit. This you just do not see this shit in Hollywood. This is the most creative shit I've ever seen. And dude probably like do like a crazy kill stand cosplay. I was like, this is some killer shit. And yes, he killed Stan Lee. He didn't really, but so that's kind of like my I'm going with it. And then of course I'm doing like some dark humor jokes and stuff. And because I'm really big on dark humor because I laugh I even laugh at myself all the time anyway. And I was like, I want to make people laugh and have fun and just have a good time. And I honestly, your comedy posts be making my day every single time you post something.
Thank you, thank you.
Like, even as I've been sick this week, just seeing your random posts, I'll be crying, laughing. I was like, even when I'm sneezing, I laugh so hard. I feel like my lungs came out, but somehow that made me feel better and got the congestion out of my chest a bit. So thank you for that.
Glad I could help, yeah, I like to do what I can for everyone out there.
So whoever asked me, how did you get better? I read Deece's comment on
Yeah,
his Facebook.
comedy really is the cure for everything, it turns out, even cure for the common cold. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, I think I like the idea of doing comedy comic books. I think it's really like I think it's kind of like a lost art, like I say this having been writing a book that's kind of like this, it's like a darker, gritty crime noir. I mean, it definitely has some purpose behind it, but like I like the idea of writing stuff that's like a genre where it's like like a comedy horror spoof thing or something. Like there's so much room for that type of stuff in comic books. And I don't think there's enough of that anymore. Like you don't see as much of that. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least not prevalent. I mean, there's probably more of that in the indie scene, but like I wish there was more room for that in mainstream comic books, like mainstream comic books has just kind of been distilled down into like we got superheroes, we've got we got these supernatural and it's like there's not all these like you don't see a ton of westerns anymore, you don't see a ton of sci-fi, you don't see a ton of slice of life stuff. It's like I think there's so much room for all that.
But that's actually interesting because my first comic series is this is actually Arcfire right here. This is how I started my comic journey. Is actually is a science fiction uh action thriller horror because my character he's a cosmic being but he has no memory of who he is.
Mm,
And so he's on this journey trying to figure out who the hell he is and why he's on Earth or how he got there. And then
yeah,
and I'm 2 issues in so far, and I'm already got issue 3 and 4 covers done, so I'm gonna get those interiors done. Started this year as in when we hit to May, it'll be my 4 years in comics so far. And I've learned so much in my short time already. And I knew from the beginning when I got into comics, I didn't want to start with superheroes. I'm like, that's
yeah,
already being like I think it's oversaturated. It's already being done already so many times.
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, I want to do something that's not, I guess, the norm, as people say.
yeah.
I was like, and I grew up with watching a lot of fantasy, a lot of horror. Even though I snuck around sometimes because my mother didn't want me to watch horror, but I still watched it. Of course, I got caught because I was stupid, but it happens. But I don't regret it because I don't think I would have the imagination I have today
Right.
if I did.
It all I mean, when people stick to one genre too much or, stay away from certain stuff, man, it can
Yeah,
really hinder what you write or how you write and create. There's so much room
yeah,
for for everything. And that's I mean, honestly, that's why when I write, like the next project I'm working on that's going to be the follow-up to Kill Stan is very different, very, very different in tone and texture. I mean, everything is very different because I want to write something different. I want to write something different for me, not just because of like
yeah,
creativity, but also to challenge myself. Because like we've all seen create. I mean, like I don't want to be Tom Clancy, who's fucking, or like John Grisham, who's writing his third lawyer procedural of the year. Like fucking great. let me guess, fucking John Grisham or John Grisham. Is it another book about a lawyer at a law firm in some big case? Like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
We get it. Like, I want to write. I'm not a big like fantasy sword and sorcery type guy. That was just never my genre. It never really appealed to me. Um, but I I would because of that, I'm like, I wanted to challenge myself to write that. So one of the projects I'm working on is like a more fantasy sword and sorcery type thing because I'm like, well, that's not a genre I've written in. It's not a genre I've spent a lot of time in. Like, what can I do there? Let me jump in and see what I can, what comes, if my brain that is not geared towards fantasy gets put in the fantasy realm, what can I come up with? What can we do? So
yeah.
it's,
I was like, I've grew up on fantasy from like Lord of the Rings, Avatar: The Last Airbender,
yeah,
and so many other type of fantasies projects that's out there. And I grew up on like Halloween, The Thing, Evil Dead, Scary Movie, Scream, yada yada yada. The list goes on.
yeah,
And so I gravitated towards those because growing up I was in a very dark place. So I gravitated more towards horror because I love the darkness of it. And I felt like being in the darkness was easy. And that's why my strong suit is horror because
yeah,
it's more, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's more, I guess I think it was more I was trying to hide my own darkness is basically how I'm trying to explain it.
yeah, yeah,
And trying to just try to get it out and because I grew up with a lot of anger issues. That's like a lot of anger issues. So I had to try to find another avenue where I can get it out without hurting myself or somebody else.
right.
And then I learned my mother also a writer, so she pulled me aside and told me to write my thoughts out. And she literally forced me to stay in my room until I grabbed a pencil and paper to write my thoughts out.
A smart mom.
Oh God, most definitely. I was like, of course, I stared at it because, ego and pride. I was like, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. And so I started, and writing became my therapy, dude.
Yeah,
And then I just started writing my first novel. Then I got into comics, and then I was like, huh, this is interesting. And so
yeah,
now, for like 4 years in, I was like, I don't want to be like a one footnote person.
right.
And I was like, I don't want to be known as the new Stephen King with this horror stuff, or like you said, Tom Clancy or these other authors. I want to be the first me where I actually have a diverse of things.
Right.
I'm challenging myself to write comedies, to write drama. I'm randomly writing a romance. I don't know why. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it's a challenge. So I just want like write romance. I grew up on Hallmark. My family loved Hallmark, so I was like, even though it's the same story over and over again, same cast, it's different character names, but I have the um knowledge of it, so I can probably do it myself and see what I can play around with.
yeah,
And so I was like, and even outside of writing, I do other business things. Like I create my own clothing, I create my own shoes, I create my own drinks. I was like, so I try to challenge myself, put my hands into different, excuse me, sorry, industries. It's like see what I can basically bring to the world. Um, and plus, I was like, I'm tired of these corporations mistreating people. I'm trying to see where I can try to help people because I want to potentially create jobs for people because these freaking corporations don't care about us.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I want to try to be a change for that. And so I didn't mean to cut you off. What you about to say, brother?
Uh, but the but yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really, I think it's funny when it comes to writing. People assume that there's got to be some like I guess it all comes from the same place. It can just
Hmm.
manifest in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So you can make
Yeah,
something. You can take that energy and put it down the romance or this. We're gonna put it all into this horror category now. We're gonna put it all into you know and some of them flow a little easier. Like for you, obviously, it sounds like horror is kind of like the easiest. It's the most natural. For me, like a first person crime noir type of neo-noir crime thriller type thing, like that's kind of my bread and butter, like what I like the most. It's how it's but also, I mean, again, there's so many things I do want to do. I've got a list of projects I'm working on that are all so different. I mean,
Oh
all of
yeah,
different genres, different point of view. I think the only consistent thing is like I'm really strong or stringent, strong single characters with a purpose. Like there's always like a lot of subtext to the books is what I want. I don't like you said earlier, like a superhero thing. Like I'm not opposed to doing a superhero thing, but I've got to find an angle that makes sense, like that has a real purpose. I've got one superhero story that I wrote. I mean, probably first started writing the pieces of it probably 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's actually one of the comic books I started working on years ago that never came to fruition, but I'd still like to do it, but it's got a purpose. It's yes, the guy is a superhero, but like that is not the story. The story is
yeah,
much more than that. And if you can find an angle, I don't mind it. But if we're just talking about like, no, and then Spider-Man fights Carnage again, and then he wins, and he goes home to Mary
yeah,
Jane, and the next month he fights Green Goblin, and then he
yeah,
he looks bad, but then he ends up winning. Then he goes home to you're like eventually you're like, all right, I how much of that can I really read before I need
yeah.
a little bit more? Yeah.
Agreed. And speaking of superheroes, I'm actually writing a superhero universe that's actually not my universe.
Oh, okay.
It's for somebody else that I'm working with because she's a musician and she does a lot of different things. We met. I followed her for a while. I've been a fan of her for a while. We became friends 2 years ago. I can't legally talk about this project yet, all the way through yet, but she
But
been
that
wanting to
but
get in
that
comics.
musician is Billie Eilish.
I wish. That would be cool though if she wanted to get into comics. But no, but my friend, she wanted to
I
get
don't
into
know if you could
comic.
fit those tits on one page, though. You have to be a double page spread to get both those tits on his can I say that? Is she 18 yet? Am I allowed to say,
Well,
edit that out if she's
I'm
not
pretty
18.
sure she's in her 20s.
Pull it up, Jamie. Jamie, pull it up. Is Billie Eilish 18? Fuck.
I'm pretty sure she's in her
If not,
20s. Like,
Sofia Vergara. I don't know. Damn it, she's not a musician. Whatever. Madonna. I don't know.
well, well, I'm pretty sure she's in her 20s, but yeah,
All right, cool. Very great.
yeah. But that's been a challenge because, like I said, I didn't want to get into superheroes, but she's been wanting to get into comics for a couple years,
Yeah.
and I was like, sure, I'll attempt it.
Yeah.
But when she gave me the gist of what she wanted, I was like, "Oh, that's what you want." I was like, "Okay," because she want that superhero that's intense, funny, and that basically kind of like Deadpool mixed with Phoenix in a way.
Okay. Okay.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I can do that."
Yeah.
I was like, "I can do that," because I'm like, and I add like I think I add like a little horror element to it that she approved. I'm like I kind of add that flair to it a bit. But we got her first issue in production, I will say.
Nice.
And I can't wait till I can fully talk about it because I'm really excited for it, especially as my first superhero project. But I, our her podcast or something will talk about it at some point.
Right on.
But I'm excited for that. And actually writing her story, like creating her universe, kind of inspired me to like attempt to kind of add some superhero type of thing into my universe.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think Arcfire might actually be like he won't be a full-fledged superhero, like a full funny suit, anything, but he's kind of like he's like kind of like my hero beginning, but in a more of a science fiction horror
Sure.
fantasy way, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have others. more like horror superhero stories down the road that I'm working on. So I kind of like, cause I always like mixing things like different things together. I legit mix two or three genres together, making my own thing.
Yeah.
Like for example, I can take an Adam Sandler movie and let's just say Jigsaw. I can make a horror comedy slasher.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're taking this concept of a group of old people going on a vacation. They get killed by some chainsaw guy or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can but I can take different concepts that I love and just smash them together and make it my own original thing. And I was like, dude, it's not that hard to be creative and be original for God's sakes. Like, come
Right.
on, Hollywood, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
I
there's
was
so
like,
much.
the only issue, you just need to get these old farts out the office.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the government. I'm not just the government. I'm talking about these corporations.
Right.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Well,
Hollywood's going to fail if they continue going this route.
well, and it doesn't help that, like, what is it? Paramount just bought Warner Brothers. So, when these company and, after Disney bought Marvel, then Disney bought
Well,
Fox.
Fox,
And like you just have everything consolidating under these umbrellas to where basically three companies are going to own everything, right?
yeah.
Which is, the American way. But like it
Right. And then Comcast buy Universal, or was it the other way around?
oh, yeah, 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 they did. Yeah, so like I mean, yeah, you've got these and Amazon just bought MGM also,
Yeah, that was the other one. But that's the
which
other one. Yeah.
so the problem with that is it's just this homogeny where, you're getting like these executives, these studio heads that are putting their stink on everything and they just want to make sure that it's such a tenuous art now and a tenuous like landscape where they're not taking any chances. They're only taking things that they know will make money.
Mhm.
Only they're doing these things that like they can take no chances, have no real personality because they don't want to offend anyone. They just got to shoot straight down the middle and make sure it's like bland enough to where no one's going to love it, but no one's going to be offended by it. Whereas, like, before you'd have these movies with like crazy swings and like crazy artistic takes and really insane choices. And you're like, oh, this is like a unique thing. And yeah, not everyone's going to love it, but you're like, this is real art. Like, we've made something that's interesting here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like literally on net so, like, with Netflix, I was listening to this interview where the executives actually there's, like, this mandate with everything Netflix makes where they're like, they have to basically, in layman's term, make it as dumb as possible and at least 4 times in any movie, explain the plot of the movie, like, the characters have to basically talk about the
Oh
plot
yeah. I
because,
saw
like
Matt Damon was talking about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because people they call it second screens. Like most people are on their phone while they're watching a movie,
Yeah,
or
true.
people are just so dumb and fucking out of it now that no one's really paying attention. So they're trying to make it as like dumb as possible to make sure people know what the fuck is going on and stay watching. It's like this is not the way this should be going. You
At
know?
all. At freaking all. I was like, no wonder that I dislike so much the American movie
Oh my
because
god.
it doesn't stimulate my brain whatsoever.
No. Do you
Because I
remember when like early in Netflix, there was a time when Netflix started producing their own content, because
yeah,
originally they just had movies that were already movies. And then at a certain point, I don't remember
dude,
what some
that
of their
was the time of my life. My mom used to always get the DVDs from
well, yeah, see,
Netflix.
back in the I mean, that's the crazy thing too that they used to send to you.
Yeah,
That seems like so fucking long ago. It's like
right.
the Mesozoic era. Fucking so But, like, Netflix started at a certain point, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe more, they started making their own content, and just a little bit. They had, like, one show, and then they were, like, really good, and you're like, "Oh,
They
man," like,
were.
if something said, like, Netflix it was made by Netflix, it had that little logo in the corner that meant
Yeah,
Netflix made it, you're like it meant in your head, you're like, "Oh, that's probably really good." And
yeah.
now it means, "Oh, that's probably really bad." Like,
That
at
is
some
so
point it changed, you know what I'm saying?
so sad. Oh my God, bro. And now Netflix legit just cancels everything.
Right.
and so and they want to raise prices, but it's not like lack of content. I was like, bruh, what the fuck? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's
But
it's terrible.
it's terrible. But let's get back to actual creativity.
Yeah.
But let's talk about why you kill Stanley.
All
Uh,
right.
let me share this real. Oh man, can you see that good?
Yeah.
All right, all right. Let's get to why you kill Stanley, dude. So
Yes.
tell us about what is Kill Stan? What's the genesis of when you created this amazing world? I haven't read all the issues yet because I have to. I read like the digital copies
Okay.
of because I'm on issue two. I have to
Okay.
get issue three. But tell us the genesis of Kill Stan and why you kill Stanley.
So I'll tell you the elevator pitch for the book, and then
Yeah.
I'll go back and tell you how it happened. So the elevator for the pitch is suicide by vigilantism. It's about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. It's kind of a neo-noir crime thriller on the surface, but really it is a character piece about one man's journey of loss, trauma, and the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for. That's I know that because I've said that a million times at all the conventions I've done, 40 times, 50 times a day to people. But
Wow.
that's the pitch. Um, and it's funny when I pitch it to people like conventions, if they pick it up, like, what's this? And I'll be like, it's about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. I very quickly I give them that, and then I wait a beat because depending on their reaction to that sentence, I know where to go next. Cause they will either they'll look at it and they'll go, and they do like one of the eyebrow raising, like go interesting. And I'm like, oh, they think that's interesting. Like they're into that. And then there's some people that I say that to and they go, oh, and they put the push like pull away from the book, they like put the start like and those are people who are sensitive little bitches. And they can't handle a little bit of reality, which is fine, whatever. It's not a bright and cheery story, but I take that back. It's dark, but I think it is uh, a I don't think I think it is a story about finding ourselves in the darkness, which is we've all been there. So maybe that's a good segue to kind of the genesis of this. So like how this book started, like I mentioned earlier, I've written a lot of scripts over the years. I've tried to make comic books a couple times. It just never came to fruition. This book happened because in January of 2020, my best friend and another comedian, Tony Russell, took his own life. And that was, a challenging time for me. Him and I were thick as thieves. We've been best friends for a long time. We toured together for a long time. Uh, I love the guy. He's great. He was the closest thing I've ever had to a brother in my life, and I have a brother. So and it was hard because, not only losing him, but also kind of how it happened. I'm the one who had to like call the police to do a wellness check and find him in his house. I had to call his parents and tell his parents because I didn't want the police to call his parents. And I'm like, I wanted to come from someone they knew and loved, not from some just
Right.
random fucking sterile detective or whatever, police officer. And then when I started calling people that needed to know, and then as soon as word started getting around, people are calling me. So I was like reliving this moment 20 times a day or more for like 2 weeks because everyone would call me asking me about it because I was like the point of contact there in town or like, who knew what happened. So I was like reliving this thing and it was just a lot. And then, as that was kind of starting to be a little less in the ether. Yeah, I mean, I still don't think I've ever fully processed it, to be honest with you. But like then March of 2020, so this was, I don't know, a month and a half after the funeral, COVID happens, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then the world's shut down. We're locked down. We can't see people. Shit gets crazy. I'm watching, I'm online. I'm watching people's lives fall apart physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. Like people's worlds are just crumbling, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
um, I don't care how you feel about COVID. I think we can all agree that like it definitely ruined a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, it
I mean, I think most people probably don't realize that they still haven't recovered from it. There's probably still a lot of residual PTSD trauma that they haven't even processed, you know?
yeah,
And so, I'm watching that and then I'm watching like, all the protests and stuff that happened with like George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and like all the their what else was there? There's something else that was a big thing too. Uh just a bunch of, I mean, you remember. It was fucking crazy, right?
yeah.
It's just
I try to block it out of my mind because I know all of it
yeah.
was just crazy. So, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
So, and I just remember absorbing all this. Yeah, yeah, that was another thing, and, like, yeah, just I mean, it was just shit after shit after shit, I mean, every
yeah,
day you turn on the news and you're like, "How fucking what's today?" You know? So, it got me
yeah,
really thinking about, like, what would you do if you really didn't have anything to live for? Like, if you really were at your lowest, nothing mattered, there were no stakes, like, truly, like, not just kinda, but, like, 100%. How crazy could it get? Like, how far could this go? And I started playing with that idea, and then I was reading something or watching something, and the phrase "suicide by cop" was used in this thing I was reading or watching, and my brain thought I had the thought of suicide by vigilantism. And I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like, you wanna kill yourself, but you can't bring yourself to do it, so you're like, "I'm just gonna go hit the streets and hopefully someone kills me." So
right.
then I married that up with my, this, like, bottom of the fucking pit, just ready to die and nothing left to live for person, because they fit so perfectly together, and I just started writing this story. And, I wrote it pretty quickly. I think I wrote I originally it was 12 issues. I ended up editing it down to 10. But yeah, I wrote it in a couple months and then it kind of
Well,
sat
that
around.
answers my next question.
What's that?
That answers my next question. I was going to ask, like, how many issues you think this series will be, but you
It's
pretty just
10. Yeah,
answered
it's
it.
all written. It's been written for a while. Originally it was 12 issues, but when I went and as I started getting closer to printing all of them, like getting into it, I went through and read the last couple and I'm like, there's some fat that can be trimmed here. There's moments like
Yeah,
if I press these last 6 issues down into, or last 8 issues down into 6 issues, it's like fucking bam, bam, bam. There's no lull. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna press it down and like so everything just like a fucking bullet train, just never stops, right? I never want a
Mhm.
moment for someone to be able to breathe. So, and that's the nice thing about indie comics too, is like I'm paying for it. So if one issue, I don't regulate myself to a page count. Like if one issue is 24 pages, the next one's 33, that's fine. I put however many pages that issue needs to be.
Dude,
Uh
I am the exact same way. My first arc fire, I think I got about 21 pages. I think I
yeah.
lost count, and then my second one, I think about like maybe 20. I don't really, I lose count of how many pages,
Yeah,
but I
it's
know
a
because arc fire issue two, I cut some pages off of issue two because I'm saving those for issue three.
yeah.
I'm like, because I feel like the way it's like it's set up, I feel like the pages I cut off were too much for issue two. I was like, I want to leave the suspense a bit and save it for issue three. And I was like, and then my other books, I have like books that's probably going about 100 pages that I'm probably going to trim down, maybe.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been like slowly transitioning to making more of a paperback type of perfect round, perfect bound books
Mhm.
because I was like because I'm kind of getting like really tired of floppies because I feel weird when I'm holding them.
Yeah.
But holding a paperback, it feels so much more professional in a way, if that
Sure.
makes
A little more
uh,
complete, you
thank
know?
you. I mean, that's the word. That's the word. More complete. I was like, huh, because like when I got like other indie creator books, they're in paperbacks. and I was like, I'm like, these will feel so much better than like learning that people are more toward they want like a good complete book,
Yeah,
even if it ends on a cliffhanger, but they have a lot of story they can read. Like I'm slowly transitioning into doing more paperback books. And so like my next comic is going to be my first graphic novel, which is called Skin Shifter, which is going to be about 90 to 100 pages or so.
yeah,
I don't know the exact count because I have to wait till the art gets to me in case my artists have to like split up pages. It's because there's a lot of action in some panels that might need to be
yeah,
split. But right now I'm projecting about a 90 to 100 page graphic novel, and I'm so excited. That's gonna be my first test of, of a comic book in a trade paperback. I was like, at first I was gonna do like single issues, like one, two, three, four, yada yada yada. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm putting out the suckers together. I was like, and plus I get my, and then I should learn I can get a bigger discount printing a paperback compared to a floppy. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm actually
That's
saving money on this if I do a trade paperback. In compared to, I'm like, okay, I'm going this route because I'm like, I'm gonna go this route instead of continuing doing floppies.
yeah. It's interesting how now, trying to figure out the best way to do it. Yeah, we're actually gonna after number 4 here. Actually, not after number 4. With this Kickstarter, we're gonna be offering, individual books, obviously, but I'm also gonna do a collected edition of the first 4 issues because it's kind of the first arc of the
Ooh,
story. It kind of is it's a good end to the first arc, essentially.
nice.
So there is gonna be you are gonna be able to order on the Kickstarter a trade paperback of the first 4 issues if, someone wants to catch up and hasn't read it yet or
So I can actually buy the physical book where it's actually all of them together and not just singles.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
We're gonna
awesome.
do that. It's gonna be we're doing digest size. So, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the DC compact comics, they're, like, a little smaller, they're, like, 6 by 9. Um,
Oh, okay, so like an
yeah.
actual novel.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, let's see if I have 1 second here. So, it's like the difference is this. So, this is a regular trade paperback.
Okay,
That's like your standard comic book size. This is the
okay.
digest size. So, you see it's like a little small, a little less,
I like that though. Okay.
so I don't know if you've seen, like, those DC compact comics.
I have.
Oh, yeah, they're this size, the smaller size, and they're blowing up. They're really blowing up, and I think part of it is that the bigger comic book size is intimidating to younger and manga fans. It just is like
Yeah,
it's like
that
their
makes sense.
dad's comic book, or their grandpa's comic book. So I think the smaller size is more appealing to them and is much more marketable. I think that's part of it. We're gonna and it they're also a little cheaper to make.
That's
I'm gonna
true.
do a
Right, that's
I'm gonna
true.
offer the collected edition in the digest size, and, I'm gonna try that. So that's gonna be the next thing we're doing on this Kickstarter. But, uh but yeah.
And do you have a date of when you're launching this official issue 4?
Um, right now, I am, um, looking at I think March 30th is what I was planning, which is a Monday. So and I'm only doing it then because I u you know, I just usually like to launch on a Monday. So probably do it on March 30th and it'll run through the end of March. So or end of April. So it'll run for a solid
A good 30 days?
almost like 4.5 weeks. So it'll run for yeah, it'll have a solid, 30, I think 5 days, something like that.
Heck yeah, that's freaking awesome. You're right there, guys. Like, follow Kill Stan number 4 and see why he killed Stanley. But also, with this cover, is this kind of like paying homage to your friend? Because I recognize the rings, so like it's for like an angel wings in a way. So is
Yeah,
that kind of like paying homage? I know that might be a personal question, but I was just curious.
so I mean, a little bit. So there's what's on him is a little more. It's kind of half demon, half angel. It's a little bit. It's a little mix
Okay.
of. It's kind of more to represent the, juxtaposition of people and how, conflicted we are with our in ourselves, you know? So,
This is why I love art, guys. Like, just the presentation. Like, this is why art is life. Like, come on. Sorry,
yeah,
continue.
the um, so there's a lot of symbolism in this book and iconography, about death and about life and about inner turmoil and what represents us and how we feel about ourselves, how other people view us. So there's a lot of those representations in this. So this is, Stan wants to kill himself, whether he does or not, you guys have to read. So, is he actually dead and has become something else, or is this a metaphorical thing? There's lots of ways to look at it. So, and especially once you read the whole thing and get to the end, there's even more ways to look at it. So um,
Heck
I
yeah.
really I really like to write things like that where there's like this, there's abstract takes available, there's room for interpretation, and there's a lot of, uh it allows the reader to personally connect with it and kind of figure out what it means to them. There's not always, like, this is what you have to understand about it, this is what you need to take away from it. There's wiggle room in that?
I think that's also why I kinda started writing the, like, horror and stuff because even when I'm writing horror, I put some type of message in there letting you know that this can happen in real life. Like,
Yeah.
people go through this shit, and I freaking love Kill Stan. I read the first 2 issues. I have to read issue 3, but I got the digitals, but I'm always physical media, so I need to get the freaking 4 books so I can wait for this to launch so I can snatch, that digest physical
We'll
media
have
book,
it
man.
soon. The only problem I'm having with the digest is having a hard time deciding what I'm gonna put on the cover.
That's always the hard part. It's always
It
it's always the hard part is to cover. My god. How many
that's
pages of, like, issue 4 is it gonna be?
issue 4 is, I can tell you, 1 second. Issue 4 is da 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 da. Drum roll, please. Kill Stan. Issue 4 is going to be 24 pages.
4 pages,
24
hell yeah.
pages. So yeah,
And
so
it's
some
actually completely done, you just need to print it now?
we're still working on the art. It is not completely
Oh,
done.
okay, okay,
We're about a quarter of the way done.
okay.
What I like to do is that's kind of why I've got the launch date of the Kickstarter has been floating a little, because what I like to
Mm,
do is I like to aim for the Kickstarter to be ending around the time the book is completely finished.
gotcha.
So I like the book to be done so we can almost immediately roll to print as soon as the Kickstarter closes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of the goal is to, or as quickly as possible. I don't wanna, like, have the Kickstarter be done, and then it takes another month and a half to finish the book, and then it takes another month to get the books, and then it takes a couple weeks to ship them all. Like, I wanna as close, there's wiggle room in there, but ideally, the book is ready to print around the same time the Kickstarter ends.
Hell yeah, dude. And that's kinda how I tried to do my first Kickstarter was with my Arcfire. I was like, book was pretty much already ready, but there was delays due to the artists had issues on their side.
There always is.
And then I had to get a new printer because the printer I originally had, what the quality was tanking a bit
Yeah,
with the cover. When I got the cover, it made my eyes blurry. I was like, God no.
yeah.
And then they got overpriced and it's like, I'm found a different place. And then finally got back on track. So I'm finally getting those books in and fulfilling that my Artfire Kickstarter officially. So that's going out to the mail.
Nice. Yeah, there's so many hiccups and things that can happen.
Yeah.
But I know number 1 and number 2 for us went really smoothly. Number 3, I mean, it came out months after it was supposed to, because I had a bunch of delays on the art because of, a lot of reasons. So we had delays on the art, and then we had delays on the printing, and it kept yeah, everything just took longer than expected, like months longer. And so I'm really
Yeah.
trying to make sure that doesn't happen. We really were able to get books out within a couple weeks after on the first two, and I want to get back to that, where we
Right.
can people can expect the book within like in their hands within like a month of the Kickstarter closing, is the goal.
Yeah, and that's kinda how I learned from my first Kickstarter, learning about these delays. So I'm trying to get ahead of them before I even think about launching.
Yeah. Yeah, better to get something to someone early than late.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was actually good that I learned that early on because that was my very first. So I'm excited for the next books I do, because I have hell, I kinda lost count of how many books I got in production, if I'm being honest. But I know Skin Shifter, is gonna be my next one after Halloween's currently going. And I have about 6 days left on it, still trying to hit that funding goal. Fingers crossed. I was like, but even if it doesn't, I'm not discouraged. I'm like, Imma just relaunch it at a later date if I have to. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not discouraged. I'm like, I have to re-strategize. That's all I have to do, like, just
Yeah.
re-strategize it, and just I was like, that gives me time to, like, basically learn the algorithm or something, or, like, learn my audience basically,
Yeah.
and like how to maneuver around the algorithm, and also so I got sick a few times during this campaign, so I slacked a
Love it.
bit to do. So it slowed me down a bit. So I was like, I guess that was the Friday 13th curse because I did launch on Friday 13th.
Yeah, that's on you, man. You
Yeah,
again.
so that was my fault. Even though I didn't realize it was Friday the 13th when I chose that day until somebody brought it up to me. I was like, if you're a
Yeah.
WWE fan, I guess I got cursed by Deadhausen. Yeah, but brother, the better DC comics. I thank you for coming on, bro. I'm so excited for Kill Stan, and I am so excited to see why you kill Stan Lee.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Almost there. But before we go, man, please tell us where we can follow you and keep update on your comedy and whatever projects that you're doing, brother.
Yeah, let's do comic book first. The comic book Kill Stan. We have issues number 1 through 3, physical copies and digital copies available on our website. Inferno.earth is the website. There is no .com. .earth is the domain. So Inferno.earth is our website. We've got a shop right on the website. Hit the shop link. We've got multiple covers for each issue, and we'll ship them right out to you. Get them out quick. We do combined shipping and stuff too. Or if you see something you like, you can always just DM me on Instagram. That's the easiest way to reach me. I'm the guy who answers those. And you can buy them directly from me through like Cash App or Venmo on Instagram, and I'll send them out. It's a little cheaper that way because I avoid some fees, so I pass those savings along to the customer. Or just order
Heck
them
yeah,
on the
brother.
website, whatever you want to do. Either way, we'll get them out to you. Follow us on Inferno.earth on Instagram. That's our Instagram page. Also, we're very active on Instagram. And that's where I do the most promotion. Try to post something almost every day, but it's not always Kill Stand content. I also do other comic book content because I don't want to just always be like, I don't want to just, I want to create like a comic book community on the Instagram page. I don't want it to just be like, hey, here's my thing, buy it. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
on Sundays, or I'm sorry, on Mondays, I do my pick of the week. I pick the one book that's coming out that week on Wednesday, a new comic book day that I think is everyone should be reading. So I promote that on Monday. On Wednesdays, I try to do a thing, that's usually known as New Comic Book Day in the industry. So I try to do a thing called Old Comic Book Day, where I make a short video about an old comic book that I read that I loved growing up that was like pivotal to me and inspirational and has meaning for me to try to keep people reading old stuff. And then I think I'm going to start doing some videos with my mom about and have her like try to see like kind of like trivia stuff because there's no way to know any of this shit, but I'm going to see how much she actually. Um, so we're
Heck
gonna
yeah,
do
dude.
I'm trying to do some fun stuff like that on there too, and like more interactive, fun rankings and all sorts of stuff. So it's not just like, hey, come buy my book. It's a whole fun comic book community that I want you to get involved in. Follow the Kickstarter for number 4. We're trying to get as many follows as I can. You don't even have to support the Kickstarter when it comes out, but if you just follow it now, it helps a lot when we launch. It gets us higher in the algorithm, gets more eyes on us, and we'll fund faster. So even just following that helps a lot. I also do stand-up comedy for a living. So if you like comedy, follow me at deece.comedy on Instagram, or Deece Comedy is my website. I'm on tour a lot this year. You know, I took last year off a little, not off, but I didn't tour as much. I'm doing a lot more touring this year. And if probably come to a town near you. If I'm not, tell me where you live and I'll come tell jokes to your face in your yard or something. I don't care. We'll figure it out. And I do have a special on my website at deececomedy.com for my special. We're running a deal right now. A couple years ago, I filmed a comedy special called Not Your Cup of Tea. If you can go to my website, click the Not Your Cup of Tea link, and it's all donation based. You can pay whatever you want, and we will send you the full 4K 1 hour comedy special for you to download and watch forever. You can pay whatever you want. Most people pay like $5-10. You can even pay just $1. It's a dick move, but you'll still get it. We'll send it to you. Watch it, enjoy it, or watch it and hate it. I don't care. And also I have a podcast called The Social Hour. New episodes most Wednesdays. I do take a couple week every now and then I take a week off, but it's most Wednesdays. It's a talk show with a comedy slant. I do a lot of different things. I've had a lot of different guests on. We do talk to some comic book creators, but it's not that focused to people in all walks of life. I've talked to everyone from presidential candidates to the guy who created the Ninja Turtles and everything in between. So I really try to talk
Great
to a lot.
show. Great show.
Yeah, just different people that I like and I think are interesting. Uh, I'm going back to bringing some more comedy back to it, some more segments and bits, and trying to integrate that back into it. That's we haven't had for a while. So yeah, it's fun. Check it out. And that's on my website or any platform you have. And I don't know, fucking burn down Capitol or something. I don't know. Fuck it. Fucking do something cool with your lives.
Yeah, yeah, like literally. And I'm Kevin Davis. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official, and also my business Instagram at Kevysie, and my Kevysie.com website. You can find me here at Kevysie Fate Podcast on Spotify and anywhere you watch or listen to podcasts, and my YouTube at Kevysie Studios or simply just Kevysie. But all of our links will be in the description of this video, so you guys can follow us. You can laugh, you can hate us. We don't give a fuck. We're just creatives that just enjoy creating, just enjoy entertaining people. But the better DC comics. Thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Uh, and also, he has a great show. It's freaking hilarious. I watched almost every episode. That's
Thank you.
freaking phenomenal. I want to go on it whenever you have available. But that's off camera conversation.
Yeah.
But we'll see you guys next time on Kevysie Fate Podcast. Catch you guys later.